How has Tesco gone so expensive? I have 2 bags. 1, 2. 120 quid for what? Little bits of food. Like, I swear everything is around like £2.50 and it mounts up. Like, nappies, £6. Since when are these like £2? What are these for done? £6. I just don't understand how the government expect us to continue shopping like this.
Okay, firstly, she's got 2 bags for £120, but we need to properly see the contents of the bags, maybe your receipt to give a proper analysis. Regarding the nappies being £6, I can't comment. I don't know what nappies typically cost. I'm not a parent. Is that typical? The one thing I will say, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with these prices or not, if you're bringing a child into today's world, I think it's safe to say you need some savings behind you, or a decent job, whether we like it or not, because you're going to get these £6 bills here, £10, £50. It's not cheap to bring a child into this world. That's not a criticism for anyone getting defensive, but that's what you sign up for. £6 Ferrero Rochers, yeah, not cheap chocolates, but have they ever been? That's why most people usually buy them as a gift. I'm not saying she's just bought them as part of a weekly shop, but yeah, if I'm buying Ferrero Rochers, it's a birthday gift, a Christmas gift. Even then, you can trim off a couple of pound. If you want to buy somebody chocolates, you can probably get something for £3 or £4, right? You can't really moan about these prices as part of the cost of living crisis. If you're going to moan about the cost of living crisis, at least moan about the essentials. I mean, she's not moaning about the price of pasta or bread, the essentials. Dairy Lunchables, again, that's not essential. It's probably for a child, but again, parents out there, where do you draw the line between giving your child, somewhat of a treat, something that they like the taste of, versus saying no to them? I'm sure the balance can be tricky. For the packed lunch at school or whatever, surely a sandwich, a piece of fruit, a drink, maybe a pack of crisps, and then maybe the Dairy Lunchables every now and then, but it has to be regarded as a treat. I also noticed she said that everything was costing about £2.50 in Tesco in her shop. I don't think that's entirely accurate. I'm sure there are many products under £2.50 at Tesco. Also, again, she's playing a little bit of victim, like blaming the government. If you're going to blame the government, moan about the government, at least do it with, again, your essentials. If your pasta and your bread go up to, £3 as the cheapest possible items, then you've got a case for moaning. But when your rant is about Dairy Lunchables, Ferrero Rochers, nappies.
Tesco, what on earth is this? £3.60 on a club card for a meal deal and £4 for a regular meal deal. The inflation is crazy. I am telling you right now, it should be £3. Broski, what is the point of putting your prices up? Because if you go into Tesco, especially without a club card, you are spending minimum £50 for a normal, and all you're getting is a meal deal. Is 2 meal deals these days. It's absolutely outrageous. Broski, I went in there the other day and saw mini rolls for £4, and that was a small pack as well. Like, what are you doing? Why have you put the prices up again? It's on the same topic as sausage rolls from Greg's. It's so annoying. It's not needed. People are struggling financially and you go to do this.
Not to be too harsh towards the lad, but how can you take this guy seriously? If you're someone struggling and maybe you want a bit of financial advice, you shouldn't really be tuning into the likes of this guy. Looks like he's on some kind of rave, and anyone who says broski, can they be taken seriously? I'm not saying he doesn't have a point with the prices of things. I've said it before, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but he's moaning about meal deals. Whether you like the price or not, there is a solution. Make your own. Make your own lunch. Where's this expectation that Tesco have to provide your lunch every day at £1 or whatever you want the price to be? £3. Yeah, it's inflation. You don't like the price, don't pay for it. I don't buy meal deals. If I do, it's a very, very rare treat if I'm on a day trip or something. And you just acknowledge the price and get on with your day. His moaning is saying £4 for a small pack of mini rolls. I'm pretty sure you can get them cheaper in other stores, but again, all this drama, £4 for some mini rolls, and Greg's have increased the price of the sausage rolls. So he just wants everything in cheap. He's not talking about any essentials. I want my sausage rolls. I want my mini rolls. I want my meal deal. Government need to put the price down. Talk about pasta, bread, rice. These are your essentials, broski. He's saying if you go in Tesco, you'll be spending £50 and it'll only get you a few meal deals. Well, just walk by the meal deals. I won't be spending £50 in Tesco. If I've got lunch to make when I'm at work or whatever, I'll go in and buy the cheapest bread possible. I'll buy a very cheap filling, maybe a cheap bit of salad, and it'll work out an awful lot cheaper than a meal deal. What does it cost to make a sandwich realistically, depending on your filling? £1?
I'm in Tesco. We've got this cost of living crisis. £3.39. Are you actually being serious? Fucking hell.
I just included this clip for a bit of a laugh. I don't know whether he'd purchased the Haribos or not, but yeah, you see some Haribos on the shelf for £3.30, and most of us who are financially savvy probably walk away, unless money is no object, of course. Or if you are spending £3.30, you need to realise that is a serious treat. But yeah, it would sting, £3.30 for some Haribos. But again, there's so many sweets that are a lot cheaper than that. And of course, it has to be acknowledged that sweets in the first place are a luxury, and it's not really part of a balanced diet, really. It's just junk food, right? But I liked it at the end. He was like, fucking hell.
Look at this, we got the Tesco brand beans right here. Look at the price of these, yeah, 43p. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Proper Asian in it, taking it from the back. Oh shit, 5, 6. Ain't no way am I paying £5.25 for Heinz beans when I could get Tesco brand beans for 43p. You ain't robbing me, bro. I'm an Asian. I find a way around to get everything cheaper. I never pay full price.
I love this clip. There's not too many of them out there, but yeah, he's an Asian, as he says. So yeah, he doesn't pay a full price. I love that. And again, this isn't a criticism or me looking down on anyone who buys Heinz. It's just about taking responsibility for that, isn't it? Maybe you've got a little bit of extra disposable income and it's worth the extra cost. But yeah, I'm with that guy, you know, chuck all the cheap baked beans in and just basically say F you to Heinz, you know.
Ones that I cannot get my head around these prices still. I literally cannot get used to them. It is taking the piss. It's fucking robbery. I mean, look at that in Asda. £3 for that. £3. What the fuck? It's got a bit of pickle in it. I can fucking cut a pickle and fucking add it into the cheap shit. 1 for £1.45. You cheeky fucking robbing cunt. And look at this as well. £2.25 for hula hoops, 6 bags. Who in the fucking right mind would pay that? Here, £8 for fish fingers now. So they've actually put them up for a big pack. What you fucking do? Or you can have £7.15 for the snides. Joke.
So let's say you're annoyed with the state of the UK. Maybe you're trying to get yourself ahead financially. You're not going to do yourself any favours listening to a guy like this, just thinking he's clever, just swearing, being aggressive. It's the good old pointing out the Heinz beans and the Heinz soup. We've discussed that before. He's not showing the cheap soup, the cheap beans. And again, there's that bit of snobbery there. He's like, oh, the cheap shit regarding the ketchup. If you can't tolerate the cheap shit, then you have to pay for the Heinz ketchup. It showed the £1.45 ketchup, and that was in Asda. There's actually a Just Essential ketchup for about 80p, which is what I buy. And then the fish fingers, he didn't mention the option at the very bottom of the screen. If you picked it up, I think it was 80p for the Just Essential fish fingers. He seems disgruntled about the hula hoops as well, at £2.25 for a pack of 6. Yeah, that's expensive. He's saying who would pay that? Yeah, I wouldn't pay that. So if he wants some hula hoops and he's not making the purchase based on the price, then fair play to him, because that's what it comes down to. You look at a price, you either want to make the purchase, you think it's value for money, or not. You certainly can't buy something and then moan about it afterwards. If you really fancy some crisps, again, there are cheaper options. If you're struggling that much, crisps aren't even essential in the first place.
What in the broken Britain living crisis shithole of an England is this? Here we go. You ready for this? £8.25 for a bit of butter. I'm sure these ain't much different, are they? In the same way, £1.97. Ridiculous. I mean, look at this. £3 for a couple of little popcorn chickens. What the hell? £3 for apple pies. I'm sure they were a quid not long ago. Someone tell me different. £2.50 for 5 bambos. They were definitely a nicker. This is unreal. Wow. It's only a little box as well. Underneath, you got Morrison's own 140. Surely these companies are taking the piss.
And we've got another Muppet here. He thinks he's clever with his really cool intro, like big clever guy. You know, we should all try and get this guy's autograph on the street. He's pointing out a layer pack for £8. I don't buy butter. I liked how when he was filming, it was like, oh, the one underneath is probably a similar price, and then he's kind of like, oh, £1.97. Well, yeah, you don't look at the £8 option, right? You just buy the £1.97 one. And then he's pointing out, I don't really know what he's trying to achieve with this. Again, going around the store, those chicken nuggets are expensive. Yeah, walk by. Mr. Kipling, yeah, expensive. Walk by. If you do fancy some kind of treat, you've got a little bit of disposable income, you know, you just buy the cheaper biscuits, the cheaper chocolate, whatever. It might be that you can't buy your apple pies, but there probably is a supermarket-owned version of things like apple pies. It's very much store-dependent, isn't it? And then at the end, Frosties, if you've got kids and they want a sugary treat, then yeah, you don't pay the Kellogg's Frosties price. Like that it showed at the end there, it's what, £3.50 versus £1.40. The £3.50 one shouldn't even be an option. And even then, if you're buying your kids Frosties or you're having Frosties yourself, it's a treat in terms of your health, right? Because it's not exactly healthy, is it? If you're going to buy cereal, at least try and meet in the middle and have some with less sugar and a bit of fibre.
Guys, we are in a cost of living crisis. Nando's, peri salted chips, or just normal chips, any of their sides really. Because if you want a regular, it's £4.25, and that's a small box, right? If you want a large, £7.25 for a large box of chips. £7.25. Are you serious? This isn't even a starter. This is a side. A side to your dish is £7.25. How much is the main? That's what I'm asking. How much is the main if the side is £7.25? That's not just the chips. That's everything. That's just tender stem broccoli. £7.25 for large tender stem broccoli. What is going on?
I just found it funny. You mention the cost of living crisis, and then you go on to moan about Nando's. Anytime you eat out, you're going to be paying a premium. Yeah, Nando's is expensive for what it is. I think I've been there once in my life. I don't go there for a reason. I've spoken about it before. When I eat out, I generally like to go to carveries and buffets because I know I'm going to be full afterwards. But I think some people could easily take offence to someone moaning about the cost of living. Maybe they're struggling with food generally or the price of gas and electric, and then this guy's moaning about the price of Nando's. It doesn't really gel. Or if you're somebody who really wants access to cheaper food when you're out and about, you absolutely hate cooking, then yeah, that's why some people think, oh, I'll go and move to Southeast Asia, I'll have some £2 noodles on the street. But that's a different topic because there's always pros and cons to wherever you live. So you might get cheaper street food in Thailand, but do you have the ability to live in Thailand? Do you have the skills? You know, I'm sure there are still some other things about the UK that you like, even though it doesn't seem like it all over the internet because everyone's just always talking about the negatives. I'm sure you can find one or two things that you like about living in the UK.
Next up, we have the Ice Blast from Cineworld. And they're about £5.85. That's about £6 for this, for a large version of this. And I remember going to Cineworld was a cheap day out. Imagine you go with your family and everyone wants an Ice Blast. That's like £30. That's ridiculous. There is really no such thing as a cheap day out these days, is there?
Okay, I don't know about everybody else here, but I can't really think of any times I've been to a cinema and purchased the food and drink from there. £6 for an Ice Blast? It's expensive. But hasn't it always been quite expensive to buy food and drink from the cinema? I don't think it's ever been, cheap and enticing from a financial value point of view. And then he's saying things like, oh, if you want an ice blast, well, yeah, I want many things in life, I want to live in a countryside. I want to never have to work another day in my life again. So he's another one of these people who just wants. And then when he doesn't get those things, he'll moan about it. If you want to afford those £6 ice blasts without having to think about it, then whether you like it or not, you're going to have to make more money, save more money. That's the reality. One thing he said at the end, though, there's no such thing as a cheap day out. I'm not sure I agree with that. Again, I don't have kids, but isn't it all about the basics? Just getting some packed lunch and taking them to the park.
Milkshakes. The milkshakes are about £6. For what? For what? Oh my God. The milkshakes, why are they £6? It doesn't make sense.
I had to include another clip from this guy because he's getting really annoyed with these expensive luxury products. Like, I want a £6 milkshake. Like, for what? For what? I want a milkshake. Give me a milkshake for £2 or £3. But if you want your £6 milkshake and your £6 ice blasts, you're gonna have to make more money, save more money. We can all agree £6 is quite expensive for a milkshake, but don't buy it or find a way to get more money in your pocket.
So I'm on lunch at work, and I've just come into WH Smith. Since when did Toblerones get £6? £6. That is a massive get to fuck. But wait a minute. Wait until you see this. Wait until you see this. This is the biggest one out of all. £2.59 for a bottle of Coke. £5 for a packet of fucking pens. What is WH Smith thinking? No wonder there's a CCTV rolling. What are you going to do? Fucking rob a load of them and sell them like fucking heroin on the streets. Might as well sell the Coke as well. Yeah, £1.79 for water. £1.79.
So we've got that Muppet back again from earlier, the one who thinks he's big and clever, swearing every sentence, being really aggressive. He says he just happened to be in WH Smith in his lunch hour. I think he probably planned out beforehand that he wanted to go in there, find an expensive product on the shelf and make some negative content. He's on about a pack of pens for £5. It's just a non-issue. Why are people listening to people like this? You either pay £5 or you get pens from a much cheaper store. He's in WH Smith after all. And then he's like, oh, £6 for a Toblerone. Again, you can probably get it a little bit cheaper elsewhere. But Toblerone's probably in the same category as, like the Ferrero Rochers and other stuff. Just in terms of you probably buy it as a gift. Whether we like it or not, we don't live in a world where Toblerones and Ferrero Rochers are £2 or £3, whether we like it or not. And then, oh, drum roll, please. To bring the drama up, he's like, guess how much this costs, like all these negative influencers do. Oh, it's £2.50 for a Coke. Yeah, because it's in that to-go convenience section. It's up to you whether you make that purchase or not. Oh, drum roll, please. Guess how much the water is? £1, whatever it was, £1.80. I never buy water. I always take my own water. I don't buy the £2.50 Coke. If you really want some Coke on your lunch break or something, take a can with you, put it in the fridge at work, whatever. There's no reason to be paying £2.50, £1.50 for water. And if you are paying it, you need to accept that that's the price you're paying for the convenience for it to be in the chiller.